Hi, I have absolutely no doubt that I look like a complete state, and I've just realised it's 10 to 1. I can't believe I've been working since 7 in the morning and it's 10 to 1 already. Um, it's August, it's early August, and I am getting everything ready for Self-Love September already. I'm pretty much 100% more dedicated this year than I was last year, and I've decided to do a little bit of vlogging about my journey, so that people kind of get a sense of the amount of work that's put into it and how seriously I take it, and also just give you a little bit of a taste of my process, my creative process. So yeah, I've just basically finalised what I want to do for the YouTube videos that I'm putting up on my channel, and also finalise what I want to do for my sounds and sessions purchase option that I am now selling on Etsy, or I will very soon be selling on Etsy. So yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys what I've been up to. So here, so this is what I'm using to show me when the sounds and session stuff is going to go up. So here, for every Tuesday in September is when I'm going to release the private SoundCloud audio file. I'm going to send that to everybody on the list for sounds and sessions. Then on the Friday I've got the video workshops, so I'm going to be putting that, so I'm going to be doing 4 video workshops, 1 for each Friday, and that's going to be going to everybody's inbox who's purchased sounds and sessions. Down here, if you're wondering what this is, I'm not sure, oh no, I think this is when I was playing around with the idea of doing a shadow work course, but I think I'm going to do that at another point. But I do know that Entrepreneurs Week, Global Entrepreneurship Week, is in November at some point, and I have marked it out in my Filofax somewhere. Oh, bloody hell, I haven't got my thing sorted out. So yeah, I'm going to be doing some more stuff for Global Entrepreneurship Week like I did last year, because that went down really well on my blog, so that was really cool. And I'll probably do some Wonder Worker stuff for that as well. If you're not familiar with what Wonder Worker is kind of like an umbrella term that I use to basically describe any materials that I put out for fellow heart-centered entrepreneurs, spiritual business owners, people that are trying to hustle, using their spiritual gifts or using their craft making abilities or anything of that nature. So yeah, Wonder Worker is just really my way of classifying and kind of categorising it. So I'll probably do some Wonder Worker stuff for Global Entrepreneurship Week, so that will be cool, but that's not what we're talking about right now. Look at this. Okay, so this is my original list that I made of the stuff that I would potentially want to cover for Self-Love September. So I just started with the random ideas, the list of random ideas, and it kind of grew and grew and grew. And this is kind of what I've ended up with. Plus, I asked on Facebook, last year I asked on Facebook what people would want to see in Self-Love September, and I still kind of have a list of the main things that people did bring up kind of most commonly, and in a few days time I'm going to be asking on Facebook again what people would like to see. So by the time this video comes out, I will have already asked and I will already have collated the information, so I get a chance to see what other people who actually watch my YouTube videos want to see and what would be useful and important for them. And I've also just finalised what I'm going to be doing on YouTube during the month. So these are the videos that I've decided on. You will have seen some of them already, and some extra notes on the back here to remind me of other things that I want to talk about. And then this is my checklist for sounds and sessions. I'm so excited about sounds and sessions. It's so different to what I normally do. Obviously I normally work one-on-one on fully customized readings, and I do kind of Skype sessions and things, so I'm really looking to move into more projects that are more based on kind of like courses, workshops, set delivery times, materials and content that I make in advance and kind of package really beautifully and then send out at specific times. So I'm really, really happy with what I've decided on, and I've managed to find quite a good correlation between what I'm going to be putting out on YouTube for everybody versus what is going to people that purchase sounds and sessions. Like, I've managed to find a sweet spot so that I make sure so that I'm covering so many of the self-love subjects that really interest people and are really useful for people, whilst at the same time offering really juicy exclusive content that I really want to make, that really inspires me for my sounds and sessions clientele. So I'm really excited, and I've had a really, really joyous time so far just planning all of this out. I'm about to begin the making process, and I will give you guys a few more updates as the month goes on, so that you get a taste of how it all works. But yeah, it's pretty grassroots. It's pretty much just me with a shitload of paper and pens, just trying to decide what I want to do and tinkering with the project and tinkering with the variables and just thinking about what's possible. And I love it. I love this part of the process. It's why I do what I do. It's just so joyful and having a great time just planning it all out. And I'm probably going to very shortly record the very first sounds and sessions private audio file. So that's going to be awesome. And yeah, I'm staying in a different place at the moment. I'm not at my house, so I'm looking after my boyfriend's mother's dog. You know, I kind of want this vlog, or at least part of this vlog, I suppose, to be about my creative process and about what I do with the Four Queens and so on. So yeah, I'm going to really enjoy sharing with you. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to make myself some tea before I do anything else now, I think. Don't I? Look at this beautiful specimen of dog. Oh, he's beautiful. Hi, gorgeous. Hello, gorgeous. You're a good boy. You just had your treat, didn't you? You just had your gravy bone. Okay, it's tea break time. Hello. I haven't gotten dressed or done my hair or makeup or anything like that, but I just thought, because I normally stop for a cup of tea and just put a video on and just zone out to a video for a while, because obviously I can't type or anything like that, and I like to really invest myself fully in a cup of tea. This might surprise some of you actually, but I do, you know, I'm rather partial. I'm rather fond of a cuppa. I know I don't sort of, you know, I don't shout about it, you know, I don't like to shout about it, but I'm quite fond of the old chai. So I like to invest myself properly in a cup of tea. I don't like to do things half-heartedly, so I just sort of sit there with a video, or if someone's around I talk to them while I'm having my tea. And I thought to myself, well, you know, I'm alone in the house, I might as well just natter to the camera actually while I have my tea. So I'll tell you a bit more about the process of planning content on a specific theme for a month, because I know there's a few people that do actually theme their months. Joanna DeVoe has been working with themes this year for her content, which I think is really cool. I don't have the discipline to do that, I don't think. I don't always like to plan that far in advance. I like to surprise myself and sort of see what comes out of me, and one day I might want to talk about witchcraft or paganism or whatever, and then the next day I might want to talk about something to do with, you know, psycho-spiritual development, and, you know, I might want to talk about depression, or I might want to talk about diet. I've kind of surprised myself with some of the stuff that I've put on my channel over time. So I don't think I could work with themes all the time, although I do think it is really exciting when people work with themes, and I love the way that they, you know, they can collate all of the material together, and then you've got this incredible rich sort of dense body of work to kind of refer to on a specific subject, and then people can come along in the future and kind of find that body of work. You know, if someone was looking, for example, for videos about kind of decluttering and clearing your space and honouring your space. I know Joanna DeVoe did a month of videos and a challenge and stuff, well, like a month of content and a challenge to do with that. Then in 2 years' time or 3 years' time, somebody could come along who's looking for some information about decluttering and find her master post with all of this cool shit on it. And I just think it's such a gift, you know, it's such a gift that you put out there in the universe for somebody to pick up at the time that they need it. And I just think that's a really beautiful thing. Self-Love September has become that for me, for definite. Like I said, I don't think it's something I could do every single month, but it's definitely something that September, you know, is going to probably be dedicated to for a long time yet with me, because I love the whole idea of it, and I love gearing up for it, and I love challenging myself to create a dense body of work like this. I think it's really exciting. And one thing that I really enjoy about this kind of process is learning what people need and having a look at the patterns and the correlations between people who are interested in learning about self-love and what specifically it is that they really need out of the process. One thing that I've noticed came up a lot last year and has come up a lot so far as I've been talking to people this year is the inner child. And I feel quite certain that when I put the call out on Facebook with regard to like what people want to see, I've got a feeling that that's going to come up even more, and I've kind of made a mental note to myself to make sure that I pay attention to how much the theme of the inner child comes up, because it is something that, interestingly, people intrinsically link to the cultivation of self-love, and that's definitely not without reason. That's definitely not without a seed of intense and profound truth. Inner child healing. Oh, wait a minute, let me just make sure that he hasn't got a cat out there. Do you know what? That dog is normally so quiet. I've never ever heard him bark before at nothing. There was no person out the front, there was no cat, there wasn't even so much as a bird. So that's a little bit concerning now, because I have to record quite a few audio files soon. So hopefully he's not going to be barking in the background. I'm sure. Got my bloody boyfriend texting me now because he's going to get his passport today, so we can go to Berlin for his birthday, which is all very, very exciting. So yeah. Right, a cup of tea with me. Oh yeah, that's absolutely the one. So yeah, so inner child healing, understanding more about how to connect with the inner child, how to understand what the inner child wants, how to kind of lift the feeling of repression surrounding your childlike impulses, how to decondition and deprogram and actually kind of move yourself out from under the wing or from beneath the tyranny of the training that you had, of your family dynamics, of what your parents wanted for you and what they expected of you and all the rest of it. I think that that is one of the seeds of self-love, and I think it's really cool that so many people have made that connection and want to know more about inner child healing and working with the inner child. So that's definitely something that I'm going to be talking about. I think I have planned to discuss this on the YouTube channel at some point. Let me check. Yep, connecting with your inner child, deconditioning, deprogramming, inner child healing. And I'm also going to be discussing recovery from abuse, healing, forgiveness, learning the lessons from what's past and kind of letting go of the baggage and that kind of thing. For me, I kind of feel that a theme that comes up more and more as I have these discussions about self-love and as I help people to cultivate a sense of self-love in their own lives is the whole habit and pattern of beating yourself up, you know, just kind of holding on to what you did wrong or how something hurt you or how you shouldn't have walked into that trap that broke your heart or disappointed you or whatever, and beating yourself up rather than actually extracting the lesson and moving on, which is the most self-loving thing to do. And I think quite often when we give ourselves permission to extract the lesson and take that and use that as fuel, then it's like the rest comes into view, doesn't it? You know, the rest kind of, it seems like it's more doable and you can get on with your life from that point. Let's have a look what else. Okay, so another really key theme that came up a lot, that comes up a lot when I talk about self-love and when people ask me kind of what to discuss with regard to self-love, is the difference between self-love and self-interest or selfishness, and the difference between, you know, self-love and arrogance. And that to me is a really, really interesting discussion. It's an interesting topic. You know, when I was younger, my mum said to me something along the lines of, the people who seem to think the most of themselves, the people who are really kind of arrogant and obnoxious and seem to be sort of up their own backsides, they're the people that like themselves the least. And I thought that was really interesting, because when somebody shines and when somebody stands in their potential and when somebody is in awe of what they can achieve as a human being, and when somebody allows themselves to experience consciousness and to experience joy and to experience all of that, they don't come across as arrogant, they don't come across as obnoxious. You don't read them as obnoxious because they're not being obnoxious. You know, they're allowing themselves to be in awe of their potential and to be in awe of the joyful experience they're having on planet and to feel their feelings and to sit with the unfolding moment. And there's nothing obnoxious about that. Listening to your needs and kind of vocalising your limitations, there's nothing narcissistic or arrogant about that. Actually, quite a lot of the time when you read somebody as arrogant or narcissistic or obnoxious or self-serving or selfish, isn't it interesting that they're probably normally the people that you would think of as also being probably not very self-loving and probably having the most issues with themselves and probably judging others in order to project their own issues onto others instead of accepting them, you know, within themselves. I kind of feel like that is a key way of knowing and understanding the difference between shining and standing in your power and being everything that you can be and loving yourself for what you are, and that opposite end of the spectrum where you're shrouding yourself in your own sense of superiority. And I think really this is also about being really honest with yourself, about whether or not that's you, and if it's not you, you know, not doubting that. I think that self-love is actually the opposite of arrogance and superiority. Those who are not self-loving will be quite likely to fall into things like arrogance and superiority and judgment of others and projection onto others and all of that kind of thing, you know, being narcissistic. I think those things are a direct result of not being self-loving. I think the more self-loving you are, the less you feel those things and the less you embody those things. And I have known people that are very narcissistic, and I've known people who are intensely obnoxious and arrogant and, you know, very, very full of themselves. And I guarantee you without question that they are the people that I would most likely think don't have any self-love. They reek of a lack of self-love. It's obvious. It's obvious. It's written all over them. It's in their every action and behaviour. There's a void. There's a lack of self-love within. So to me, the idea that arrogance or narcissism could be synonymous with self-love doesn't make any sense. You know, when I'm looking at the facts and when I'm looking at my experiences in life and when I'm looking at, you know, my own sense of times in the past where I've been like full of myself, or I've felt superior to others, or I have been judging others and I have been insisting that I'm on high and other people are, you know, not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Those times in my life were the times where I really needed to hug myself and give myself a little bit of fucking self-love. And I wasn't doing that, and that was why I was succumbing to these judgments and these projections and this malice. You know, so for me, that's kind of clear, and I want to make that more clear. So I need to think about how I'm going to make that more clear, actually. Okay, so I've nearly finished my tea. I just thought I'd show you before I get on with things. This is my new piece of stationery that I love so much because it's got my storybook on the front of it and it's so cute. And it's got pandas and lions and my inner child just said yes, so I had to buy it. And inside the pages look like this. It's really cool. This is my new book for writing notes about videos that I might want to do or things that I might want to produce for the channel. I haven't actually used very much of it at all, to be honest, so far. I've got imposter syndrome there because I really want to do a video about imposter syndrome. I feel really, really cool to do that, and I'll probably do that before September rolls around anyways. You may already have seen it. It depends when I upload this. Somebody got really confused a while ago and thought that I was talking about Letha. They thought I was talking about summer solstice when I was talking about Ostara, because they were watching a vlog, and obviously I film my vlog videos over a number of weeks, or sometimes even over a number of months. I just collect footage together and then I kind of put it all in one thing at the end. So somebody was like, oh, do you mean summer solstice? And I was like, no. I filmed it at Ostara, but I didn't upload it until after summer solstice. So yeah, if you're watching a vlog, then all bets are off on when things were probably filmed, and you know, because it's just a mishmash. I just mishmash things together, so you kind of need to be a little bit aware that date-wise things might be very like bleh. But yeah, essentially, imposter syndrome, I definitely want to create something about that, and I want to put that out before Self-Love September. But yeah, this is my new stationery and I love it so much, and I'm going to go and do some planning. Do you know what? One part of the creative process that's really frustrating and really like weird for me is knowing where to begin. It's like having a ball of yarn that's completely like bleh, and it's just about deciding where to try and start to unravel it. You know, which thread do you pick to try and start to create something that's a little bit more coherent, that's actually going somewhere where you actually can see what you've got left to do and what you have done, and get a little bit of order going in your mind, you know. And quite often I find that in the past, I have spent quite a lot of time doing things and then realising that I've done them in the wrong order. So for example, today, I am alone in the house until about 6:30. So it would make the most sense today to do the audio files, because the audio files require the most quiet. Bloody battery ran out. Cheeky. Ooh. Got a spare one. Screw you, technology. I'm a professional now. Yes. What I was saying was, so today I've got it in my head that because I'm alone and because the house is very quiet and because I've turned the phone off and because this dog is very quiet, although weirdly he did bark earlier, I'm a little bit concerned about that, but we'll just have to see how it goes. I should be recording the SoundCloud audio files, and that should be my priority because I can make videos when other people are in, and I can certainly blog when other people are in. So that's what I'm going to be doing. In the past, like a few years ago, I would not have had that organisational head on me. I would have been like doing whatever kind of took my fancy, or kind of thinking about things in a really weird backwards order that had nothing to do with actual logic. And it would have gotten to the end of the day, and then people would have come home, and then I would have resented them coming home because I didn't have any time to do my audio files. And I've just realised as they've come in that, you know, that's what I really should have been getting on with. So now that I'm going very, very much through my Saturn return, or I guess I'm out the other side of it now, but I think it's very personal for each person, or so I read. But I definitely either have gone through it or am going through it now. So now I think about things in this much more logical order. I bring much more cognitive function into the mix, and I'm like, hey, you know, you have a quiet, empty, dead house, so use that, take that opportunity. So that's what I'm going to go forth with and do. So very, very much love, and I will add more to the vlog forthwith, so I'll see you in a moment. Today is a very exciting Saturday because I'm going to write my Circle of Friends article that needs to be into Sherry by the last week of the month, and Eric and I are going to have a chat on Google Hangouts about magic and art. Yeah, I'm gonna have my cup of tea in the back garden, and then I'm gonna do a few readings before, oh dear, before I do anything else for the day. But I need to have my non-negotiable morning routine first. It's very important. Otherwise you go slightly mad, don't you agree? Ooh, it's really nippy for mid-August. It's been a really naff summer. Everybody said as much, really. It's been cold and unseasonably rainy and just a bit lame, to be honest. But I suppose Mother Nature's doing what she's got to do, and it is very verdantly green, which is nice. You know, everything's come up so lovely. At the moment, I'm just trying to decide whether or not to make a separate page on my website for sounds and sessions, and actually list what the audio files and the video workshops are going to be at this point, because I've made quite a lot of them, and I'm sort of fine-tuning some other ideas before I make those videos. But essentially it's all being done in plenty of time, and so I've got kind of the finished titles and stuff. So I'm wondering if I should let people know. Quite a few people have purchased sounds and sessions already. I'm wondering if I should leave the list, or if I should leave something to the imagination, and, you know, keep the people that have purchased and the people that are considering purchasing kind of excited about it and interested in it in a way where they don't know what they're going to get, kind of thing. I don't know, I think maybe if I'd already purchased it, I might appreciate knowing the finished titles and the finished, you know, the itinerary, if you like, the timetable for learning. But then again, if I'd already purchased the course, I think it would be because I would assume that the course would be useful to me. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd need the titles and stuff. Maybe I should just email everyone who's already purchased it and give them the choice. Just be like, do you want, you know, a schedule? But then I don't really agree with doing that for business, because I do feel like you need to make the strong decision. You know what I mean? It's not a collective. It's your business. You need to like herd people where you want them to go. Danny, you're up early, babe. All right.
All right.
Hello. I'm making a video with my morning tea.
Alright.
Dog's obsessed with you. He was looking longingly into your eyes this morning, like he wouldn't even come downstairs. I had to coax him downstairs by shaking the biscuits. He was waiting for you outside the door. I'm talking to the camera about my decks. Talking to no one in the back garden, don't you know? Oh no, my tea's gone past the barrier now. What a nightmare. Alright, I'm away at the moment, so I can't bring all my decks with me, obviously, so I tend to just bring 2 or 3. I normally always bring the Rider Waite because it's my go-to. It's the first deck that I ever really worked with for clients, or ever really did, you know, really sort of profound, meaningful, yes, I know what I'm doing now kind of readings with. So it's always the one that I revert back to. If I don't have all of the options, then I would want Rider-Waite, you know. I also bring Osho Zen because I feel like Osho Zen gives me that perfect balance between an oracle deck and a tarot deck. And sometimes they'll be the only two that I actually bring, and I have my bags from Creative Sprite on Etsy. And I kind of house quite a few of my tarot decks in these bags, and yeah, just bring these really. But this time I also did bring Psychic Tarot. Quite like Psychic Tarot Oracle deck. Do you know what? I love having editing software for my videos because it really takes a lot of the pressure off to know exactly what I want to say at any given time. I might draw a card for my day. Conflict and defeat. That's interesting to me because it kind of tunes me into one or two things that I wasn't tuned into before I drew this card. But I wasn't thinking about, you know, I love it when that happens. I love it and I don't like it so much at the same time. I think that's why a lot of people, even if they understand, you know, that tarot reading can be about more than predicting the future, and you know, tarot reading can be more about free will and what you do with your free will than it is to do with fate and things being marked out. I think that's still the reason why some people are dead against having a tarot reading, is because they don't want this to happen, what's just happened to me, where you're plugged into a situation and you start thinking about a situation that you were actually not trying to avoid necessarily, because I'm not trying to avoid it. I'm trying to work, and that's what I'm here for, is to take care of the dog, take care of the house and finish this project. That's my purpose at the moment, that's my objective, and I'm fulfilling my objective. But you know, there is sort of, yeah, there is some stuff going on with regard to conflict, I suppose, that needs to be considered at some point. Solitude reversed, that's interesting to me, because I'm just not getting enough, or I don't feel like I'm getting enough alone time in a literal way. Even though I was alone pretty much all day yesterday, I didn't feel like it was enough. So I'm obviously I think I'm basically being starved of spiritual practice. But I need to, like, what I'd like to do is full on sit at my altar, but I don't have my altar here, obviously. Not that you need the altar, but it can be like taking a massive drink of water when you're quenched, sitting by the altar that you've already consecrated and you've already worked there, and it's already holds your energies, and it's got everything there that you might possibly need. So I kind of, maybe I'm missing my magical space a little bit. Obviously I'll take these messages much deeper and I'll think about them in much more depth, but yeah, that's for me. Look at my workspace. It's all a bit bloody messy, isn't it? Right, I'm just going to make myself another cup of tea. I went out for an Indian meal last night with the man badger, and it was lush, it was so nice. We had this stuff called tactile, like an Indian street food. It was really, really lovely. Had some vegetable samosas to start, and quite a lot of Cobra beer, I'm not going to lie. It did get a little bit crazy in the beer situation last night, and then we stopped by an off licence on the way home and bought some wine. It was good though, it was good. Like, we had so much fun last night, it was lovely. And now he's walking the dog up to his nan's house, and I am back on the grind. I'm back on the work flex. I've been talking to my business group a little bit this morning, my private business group on Facebook, about hashtags for Self-Love September, because last year I wasn't really that big on hashtags, to be honest with you. I kind of like, I wasn't like really sort of well social media savvy then. Like, I had a Twitter and a Facebook and stuff, but it wasn't like, you know, I wasn't losing sleep over it. But yeah, now at the moment, at this point, I think to myself, well, you know, we should have a hashtag really, so everybody can post their stuff that they're doing and what they're thinking and their thoughts and things like that, and maybe it would be a way for me to get feedback as well. So I definitely think a hashtag's worth having, but Self-Love September is a little bit generic, and quite a few people use that for different stuff. So yeah, it can't be that. So we're just sort of like hashing it out at the moment. And I love my business. I love my business group for that, for being that sounding board for me. That's really important to me, and the group is just so like active, and everybody gives so much awesome input from their own perspectives, and it's just been really nice to see it grow in that way. So that's really cool. That's a really good part of it. I was going to go for a run this morning, but I remembered that my running stuff needs washing, needs putting in the wash, so I have to go for a run tomorrow. Right, let's have a lovely cup of tea, shall we? Have a lovely cup of tea. I had to bring some teas from home, like herbal teas from home. So I've got some Women's Energy, Vanilla Orange, Detox, Love. Oh, 3 ginger. I've run out of Intensely Buttermint, which is intensely sad for me, I must say. It's a sad, sad day when that happens. Oh yes, you're a gorgeous boy. How pretty are you? Hi, it's really early on the 18th of August. I wanted to talk a little bit about creative snags, and also about the creative process a little bit. Last night, out of nowhere, my movie maker started giving some weird error message, and it did the same thing quite a long time ago, and my boyfriend fixed it really easily. But last night, he's my tech guy, I suppose you could say. Last night he just could not work it out. He was doing it for ages. He had my computer for a really long time, so I got really held up. I couldn't do anything, which was really frustrating, and is the reason that I've woken up extra early this morning, because I have stuff that I want to get out to clients, and he just hijacked my computer last night, which I totally understand why. He kept saying to me, this is really important, like, you know, you need to be doing your videos for Self Love September and sounds and sessions, and I was like, I know, but I need my computer as well, babe. So yeah, I just told him I'd get up really early this morning and do whatever I need to do, because he needs to work on my computer again today, which is just not what you need. And I wanted to talk about the fact that when stuff like this happens, quite often, it's tempting to tell yourself that the universe is feeding you a shit sandwich. It's really tempting to be like, well, this is just, you know, the fact that whatever can happen will happen. It's like ridiculous. I mean, it is crazy. Like, I make videos all the time, and nothing like this ever happens. And if anything does happen with my computer, my boyfriend can sort it out so quickly and easily. But last night, something really heinous happened to my machine, to Windows Movie Maker, and we're just like stumped. He's stumped. He was reading like on forums and stuff last night, trying to work out what the fuck it was and how to get rid of it. I think we're going to have to uninstall like Windows Essentials and then put it back on or something. I don't know. Tea will make everything better. Tea always makes everything better. You've got to see your obstacles as challenges, and you've got to be thankful for them. You've got to be like, thank you for this, because it's going to show me what I'm made of. I've lost some time now, and I've lost some sanity now, and I feel really good about that. You have to like reframe it when you're doing a creative project, especially one that's time sensitive. You just have to reframe it, and that's what I've chosen to do. But it's very hard, I'm not going to lie. It is difficult to do that. But you've just got to, haven't you? If you keep seeing me wearing the same thing throughout this vlog, it's because I kind of am. I only brought kind of one big bag of clothes. So yeah, I just keep washing stuff, ironing it and wearing it again. I don't have access to the full plethora and gorgeousness and gorgiosity of my wardrobe while I'm here, but that's okay. I can't remember when I decided for sure that I was going to do Self Love September again, but it really did make a lot of sense to me. I thought it was a great idea. I thought people really responded to it last time, and I know for my part that I had so much more that I wanted to say and so much more that I wanted to give to people. And so I knew that I wanted to have a go at doing a Self Love September that was really dedicated and that was really well thought through. So I started by kind of
capturing as many ideas as possible off the top of my head as I could, and just writing them down, just brainstorming them, writing them down. Then on the second week of August, I asked people on Facebook what they wanted to see. I kind of checked the stuff that they requested and suggested against the stuff that I had written down. And obviously I'd already kind of started collating some of the blog posts and doing some of the videos, but getting other people's input was really brilliant, and was brilliant last year as well. Last year I announced at some point in August that I'd be doing Self-Love September, and I asked what people wanted to see, and it was really illuminating. So I'm going to be working from that list to make sure that I've implemented kind of as much content that is really going to be useful to people as possible, although at the same time still kind of talking about things that resonate with me and that I want to talk about too. So it's about finding that awesome balance. For anything that you're doing, like courses or programs or anything that is going to be over a certain length of time, I think the best thing to do once you've gotten all of your ideas, once you've got your ideas factory working and you kind of get a sense of the flavour that you want to bring to the project, the best thing to do is to look at a calendar. Get a calendar of the month or the week or whatever it is, however your project's going to be divided up, and get a sense of what you're going to be doing for each day. And so if you are working on a creative project and you just know that you want it finished by a certain time, then this can be more about planning out the process from start to finish, like working out whereabouts you want to be at the middle point and whereabouts you want to be in the last week, depending on how much time you've got. You might have 3 months, you know, that might be your goal. So take a look at those 3 months on a calendar, because you get a sense when you look at, you know, the months on a page, you get a sense then of how much time you've got. And that kind of allows you to get your head in the game. So yeah, use the calendar, like maybe photocopy or print out a couple of pages that show you like the months or the week or whatever it is, whatever time frame you're using, so that you can experiment, so that you can start like drawing on them in pen and not have anything set in stone, just start to experiment with how you might like to divide the time, so you can work out kind of the most appropriate ways to do it. For me, I decided that my Sounds and Sessions content was going to go out every Tuesday and every Friday. That seemed logical to me, that was what I liked. And also I chose Tuesday because there are 5 Tuesdays in September, so you get that extra little bit of content. And then I sat down and kind of hashed out how many videos I wanted to do for Self-Love September and like on YouTube, and what the dates would be and what the titles would be. And then I started making the notes for the videos so that I could make sure that I included everything that I wanted to include that I thought was pertinent. I have a ring binder for this project. Nothing else goes into that ring binder aside from stuff to do with this project. That's also a really important thing. Make sure you have a dedicated ring binder. I would suggest more than a bound book, because in a bound book things are going to get messy. You never know how much room you need for certain divided little aspects of the project, so a ring binder is best because you can just add and subtract paper as you like, and you can put dividers in there, so you can create a project book according to your needs, and your needs will change, so that's why a ring binder is the best bet. If you're the kind of person who is kind of a rewards-based, if you have a rewards-based core personality, you can set up rewards for, you know, finishing certain tasks and things like that. You can kind of give yourself little treats. If you work more on kind of public accountability, as we call it, if you kind of feel like you want to let other people know, so that if you're tempted to let yourself down, at least you won't let them down, then that's another good idea. You can definitely, like, you know, tell your friends what you're doing, tell a family member what you're doing, let your partner know that you have plans and these are the plans and this is what you're going to be doing, so that you feel like you've got that extra accountability, that you're not likely to stumble over or give up because you've told people what you're going to do. So if that works for you, then do that. I personally like to get in the zone by checking in with myself and just being like, okay, what's to do? What have you done? What's left to do? How do you feel? Do you need to like go for a walk around the block? Do you need some sleep? Do you need to change things up a little bit? Do you need to change up where you're working? And basically just talk to myself, and making these little videos has been a useful way of doing that. Because I kind of don't have time to sit down and get into my journaling and, you know, like have a proper self-development experience. So this kind of, this does the same thing for me in a sense. It just gives me a chance to have a break and think about what I might want to do next. You can find loads of advice online about project planning. You know, there's so many different bits of advice and so many tips and tricks that speak to this goal of planning a project well and planning a project realistically, but also making sure that it's a challenge to you. So I would definitely recommend shopping around for different kinds of advice, because different kinds of advice will resonate with you in different ways depending on who you are as an individual, which is what I always say, and it's kind of my little default kind of disclaimer. There we go. It's still really early. Okay, I'm going to go in and do what I wanted to do last night, get some stuff sent off, and then I'm going to wake Danny up and he's going to try and sort this situation out. By the time you see this video, no doubt it will have been sorted out and everything will be going swimmingly again. But I wanted to use this opportunity while I'm freaking out about not being able to save my edits or do any videos, basically. Certainly can't upload any videos, certainly can't kind of save the edits on the video that I've done. I wanted to talk a little bit about creative snags and just basically say you've got to hang in there and you've got to choose how you frame them. That's really the key piece of advice that I would give. And it's not an easy mindset shift sometimes, but you can get there in the end. You know, you have to look at how fatalistic you're being about things. If you've already decided that the universe is doing this because your project is doomed and because the cosmos hates you, then you're going to fill your feelings into that reality. You're going to fill the receptacle of that reality, and it will become what's true for you. So you've got to be really careful that you roll with the punches, and when you see challenges, you've got to say, oh, a challenge, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. Now I can really kind of test my mettle and see how I'm going to deal with this and how I'm going to react to it. Hi. So I'm in a hotel because this is the sort of more glamorous end, I suppose you could say, of what I do. But I've always done it, you know. I've always, years ago when I used to love writing and I would send my writing to magazines and I just love to, you know, write fiction for pleasure. I mean, I still do that now, but to a much lesser extent. Now I like to write self-development. That's really what I love to write now, self-development and spirituality and techniques and tools and tips and tricks and methods, and I love all that stuff now. But so I still do write poetry, but I don't really write fiction to any great degree. But years ago, I used to book hotels to go away by myself, to write all weekend and just get really, really into it and be alone, because I live with my boyfriend from before when I first started doing this, and my boyfriend used to have his mates round and they go snowboarding and then do gaming all night and stuff. So it was really just for me, it was a self-loving kind of act, me just basically booking into a hotel and having dinner by myself and just absorbing the feeling of just me being me and me being with myself. I've always been really big on that ever since I started my own self-love journey, just the idea of quality time with oneself. Nowadays, booking a hotel is more about getting the quiet time to do recordings and stuff like that, and to write and to like plan. And yeah, so I booked a hotel to do the rest of the sounds and sessions audio files because I'm back home now. I'm not staying at my boyfriend's mum's house anymore, and it's kind of a little louder and a little bit less predictable at home. I live with two friends who have various different shifts at their jobs. I live with a cat who does meow. I am now going to check the drawer to see if there is a Bible in it, because yeah, like I was just thinking earlier when I got here that back in the day, like years and years ago, they used to put Bibles in the drawers in hotels, and I'm not being funny, yeah, but I just think it's such an odd thing to do in this day and age, isn't it? Isn't it an odd thing to do in 2015 to still put Bibles in the drawers? And I bet you any fucking money there's a bloody Bible in this drawer. Let's see, shall we? It's all my notes. Clever me. Oh, there it is. There's the Bible. Holy Bible, placed by the Gideons. Yeah, that's what it says. Placed by the Gideons. This, I swear to God, this happens in every chain of hotels. I don't know, I can't remember so much if it happens in independent hotels. I never really look, because the only other thing they ever put in a hotel drawer is a bloody hairdryer. So I never really look in the drawer. But yeah, here we are. Now, do you think that this is a little odd? That this is, I don't know, it sort of seems to me a little bit, I mean, could it be construed as offensive? Could it be construed as offensive, for example, to a practicing Muslim who came over here to stay in a hotel, or was here and stayed in a hotel and didn't know that, you know, that they place Bibles in
you know, if you're a British Muslim, you probably know, but like, what if you're a Muslim that, you know, isn't kind of like from here, like wasn't born here and isn't aware, or just wasn't aware, and you open the drawer and there's a Bible in it? I don't know if that might seem a little like odd to me, considering that we're supposed to live in a secular society with a separation of church and state largely. So yeah, I might read this later, or I might just dip into my Spirit and Destiny magazine. You might be able to see me in the mirror in the background. I don't know. Oh, a bit of coffee, never hurt anyone. I don't even know whether or not I'm going to put this up as a vlog, or even as a private video in my newsletter, or even as anything. I can't really decide if it's interesting enough or not. Like, I can't decide if I've talked enough about my creative process for it to be interesting enough for a vlog, if that makes sense. Or maybe it should be a vlog but not on the channel. Maybe it should be seen but only by some people, and I don't really know. I can't really decide. I'm having a problem with this creative decision, which is appropriate because this is a vlog about creativity. I might just talk you briefly through my Filofax. People have asked me about my paper planning methods and stuff, and I had a paper diary for 2014, and I wanted to switch to a Filofax because, like, at the end of my paper diary, I did finish it, and then I decided afterwards that I wanted to switch to a Filofax. So let me just think when I would have switched to it. I think I switched to it in June or July of 2015. I decided that I would give up using a standard diary and I would start using a planner with sections in it so I could have different stuff in it. Now, you know what? It's going to be a bit difficult for me to show you guys inside the Filofax. I mean, yeah, no, I suppose it'll be okay to an extent, but I'm not going to be able to show you in the diary because it's going to have clients' names in it, obviously. And even though I only write first names, I still don't think it's appropriate to show you any client information whatsoever because that's not what I'm all about. So yeah, I'll chop and screw the footage a little, shall we say, and talk you through my Filofax. There's a little thing here on the bed that says sleep tight with our new enhanced bed product, introducing Kitty Coil's Club Class Posture Comfort Mattress. Oh, thank God. Thank God for that, because my back is useless. So yeah, comfort posture sounds good, sounds like it might work. This is my absolutely sumptuous and delicious and gorgeous A5 Filofax domino. That's not just gorgeous, so gorgeous. Okay, I don't want to like go ape, but I want to talk a little bit about how I use the Filofax to organise my time and my creative endeavours and my life. So I'm not going to talk through like everything that's in the front pocket and the back pocket and yada yada and all the rest of it, because this isn't a planning and organising video. If you want to watch Filofax setup videos, however, YouTube is absolutely awash with them, and I got a little bit addicted to them a few months back, I must say, and I just watched planning video after planning video to get ideas really for my own planning process and to help myself to understand what was potentially going awry with my own planning process and how I could improve. So for me, it really just helped to get some inspiration to see how other people do it and so on and such like and so forth. So that's what I did. I keep stickers in here and kind of like list paper and you know, stamps and business cards and stuff like that. That's what I do. This is a postcard that my best friend gave me. I just love her. And yeah, there's some goals behind there that I want to keep in mind that I won't show you. This is my, what we call a dashboard in the planning world, but basically it's just where I keep my post-it notes, and behind that fly leaf there's stickers. Yeah, so, okay, so basically this is how I set things up. I have a tab called routines, schedules and routines. Now for me, with creative stuff, with business stuff and with life stuff, I find it really difficult to know what to do first. And I came across some ideas in the planning community with regard to making a schedule, with making a routine, so that every time you, for example, want to clean the house, you have a routine to show you what to do first and to give you the lowdown of what it is that you need to achieve before the decluttering and cleaning of the house is finished. For me, this is great because I get so hung up on what to do first and how, you know, the order of things and how everything ought to go.
So for me, this is brilliant. So I was like, I'm going to do that with my routines. I'm going to have set routines so that when I have the time to do a certain amount of stuff, I have a list of the stuff that I can do rather than sit there and try and think it over and whatnot. What's this? Oh, this is our NSPCC thing, because we donate monthly to the NSPCC. And this is a lovely postcard that I love. There's lovely postcards that I love dotted throughout the Filofax. I'm kind of obsessed with postcards. Yeah, so these are my schedules and routines. Now, this is my daily schedule that I pretty much stick to, apart from I don't really stick to the punching out time or whatever. But yeah, this just shows me that Wednesday's my creative day, that I have Saturday off, I have half of Friday and half of Sunday off if I can help it. And I've got Monday, Tuesday and Thursday as my key times to do readings, and Friday like for half the day. This says create and explore, and it has a person doing what appears to be just that on a blackboard. I like that very much. Oh, I've just got some spare timetable paper here. Okay, so these are my routines. This is my declutter and clean, messages and networking. I have a routine for that so that I can kind of remind myself what I'm doing with it. And this is just other stuff that I have routines for. Self-care routines 1 and 2. I have 2 self-care routines. What's really important for me about that is that sometimes with self-care, I kind of just can't really think what to do to care for myself, what to do to have that quality time, what to do to make sure that I'm okay. So if I have a list of things like, you know, have a long bath, go through your Leonie Dawson workbook, watch a documentary you've been meaning to watch, that kind of thing, then it kind of just helps me to like have instant ideas. So really it's just an instant ideas factory, and the routines can be that. You know, you don't need to stick doggedly to the routines. You can just be like, okay, I have a couple of hours to clean the house or to sort the house out or do whatever, or I have a couple of hours for networking and messaging if you have a business, and then just really just have a look at the routines and either stick to the routines or go through them and identify what it is that you can do, what it is that you need to do. This is my diary. I have a page a day diary. That is how I like things done. I cover my diary in stickers, and I either use a morning, afternoon and evening thing with lines across it, or I just let the page be free and I doodle on it and I like put my appointments in it and stuff like that. I'm not going to show you a page that there's any appointments or anything on, or readings or anything like that, because of client confidentiality. Let me just see if I can make my way to a page that doesn't have anything like that on it. Look at my cute little post-it for Self-Love September Begins. No. Okay, these are 2 blank pages. The 4th and the 5th of September are currently blank, blankety blank, and so that's what it looks like. That's what I use. It's quite a lot of room compared to what a lot of people use, but I really like it like that. I like to be able to brainstorm on it if I want to, and like cut little segments off for notes if I want to. Or, you know, I love to do things like that. That's what I'm all about. As you can see, I've got a little tab that shows me. That's the diary page. It's all really homespun, proper homemade, nothing fancy. I have an inspire tab where I just put stuff that's inspiring me in the moment. I can just flick to it and like just look at it, and yeah, basically I don't want to show you too much because it's private. This is my wellness journal. This is where I write down things that I've done, like my meditations and my how much water I've drunk during the day, whether or not I've done my ear treatment, whether or not I've taken my iron supplement, you know, stuff like that, walking, running, that kind of thing. And then up here, if you're wondering what these post-it notes are for at the end of every week, they are where I do my review to write how I've done, what I think, how I think I'm doing with my wellness. The last 2 tabs are lists and notes. And in my lists, I have everything in here, from the savings that I've put in my savings account and the date that I put them in, films I want to watch, decks I want to get, that kind of stuff. Notes is just really, actually it's become a little bit miscellaneous, this segment. It's all a little bit random and miscellaneous, to be honest with you. At the moment, I think there's my some notes about the rebranding process that I've been making and stuff over time. And that was notes about purchases that I wanted to keep and get rid of when I did my shop changeover as well. And then just some spare paper. At the back I've got a notepad for taking notes in the moment. So yeah, I've got that there for taking notes. So yeah, that's my Filofax. That's if any of you who know who Slavoj Žižek is, the philosopher Slavoj Žižek, we think that he would probably say, my boyfriend and I, we think he would probably say the word Filofax like this: Filofax, Filofax, we are looking through the Filofax. So yeah, if you know who he is, then you know what that means, and you're probably laughing. If you don't know who he is, then just ignore me. Yeah, so that's my Filofax. That's what I use it for. So I don't just use it for like business and creative. I also use it for my wellness journal and stuff. I have a different diary for spiritual ting-a-ling-a-doo-dahs, but I do sometimes actually put the dates for the full moon and the half moon and the new moon in here in my diary at the kind of somewhere at the bottom of the page, so that I have a sense, because I do follow the lunar cycle for my rituals and for my workings sometimes as well. The lunar cycle is really kind of a big thing. I can show you my face again now. Yeah, the lunar cycle, I follow it. So I do have a separate place where I keep track of rituals that I want to do or dates that are coming up and that kind of thing. But I also, I do sometimes put the new moons or full moons mostly in there, in my diary. For different reasons really. Sometimes it's to decide when I would like to do a particular client reading that I feel there may be a good lunar phase for it. Sometimes it's just because I want to remember to keep the day fairly free, because if it is a new moon then I'm probably going to be doing my ritual for my matron. I do a ritual, like a dark goddess ritual on the new moon. And any other kind of work regarding healing or releasing that I want to do. So if it's a new moon, I want to kind of keep that in my head, because I usually want to keep that pretty free unless I have a shadow map client and I've decided that the new moon will be the time for me to do their shadow map, in which case I will be very, very busy. But it's super powerful to do a shadow map on the new moon if my matron directs me accordingly, because my matron normally, or some aspect of the dark goddess normally presiding inside the archetype of my matron, will guide me with regard to decent times to do a shadow map and what would be best for my client. So yeah, if my matron guides me accordingly, then I will be doing a shadow map for that day, so that's the day that I'll put it down. But yeah, just having a look at when the moons are will show me, and sometimes it will show me how much energy I'm going to have too, or it will give me a heads up if I'm not going to have much energy. A couple of days after a supermoon, I know a great many other witches are normally a little bit pooped, so I like to make sure those days aren't too heavy for me, because I kind of feel like I'm on a bit of a lunar come down, as it were. So yeah, it's just to give me a guide as well of what's going to be going on, because I'm very, very connected to the moon. Hopefully this has been useful, and hopefully it's shown you a little bit more of not only my creative process but how I keep track of my personal well-being. And yeah, I have a journal and things like that where I write my feelings, my thoughts, my desires, my fears and all the rest of it. But my Filofax is my day-to-day companion, and I've just ordered the pocket version of the hot pink domino Filofax. I allowed myself to order it yesterday with note paper and stuff, because I purchase notebooks. I've got sort of 3 or 4 key notebooks, and then sometimes when I'm out, if I don't have a notebook, I purchase another pocket notebook, and it's actually all getting a little bit out of hand. You know what, back in the day, I used to love nothing more than spending money on stationery. And I would delight in buying notebooks, whereas now I'm much more conservative about my spending, and I'm much more inclined to just have one thing that I can change the paper in and out, you know. I don't really want to be wasteful, and I don't really want to have to make a decision between notebooks, and I don't want to have so much of a scope for losing notebooks either. So now I just want to have a Filofax, a pocket Filofax that I can put in my bag for when I'm going around, and whatever I have in that Filofax I can just pin it into my A5, or you know, use it, whatever, get rid of it, whatever, and then refill it with notepaper. Like, to me that seems way more practical. Can you tell that I have been through my Saturn return? I would never have said that 3 or 4 years ago, but I'm really getting to that point in my life now where I want everything to be practical, streamlined, and kind of as much in the same place as possible. So I just want to be able to transfer my Filofax pocket from bag to bag. I think that would be great for me for brainstorming on the go, making notes on the go, and all that kind of thing, because this baby is so fucking heavy. She is a monster. I fucking love her. She's packed. So yeah, she's a monster, and I love it that way. But yeah, I need something little for sort of dashing around here and there, going out for the day, going for a coffee, just going to a friend's house if I get an idea. I mean, yeah, you can punch it into your iPhone. And I do punch things like shopping lists and stuff into my iPhone, and I have got a list of ideas in my iPhone, but I'm really a tactile, paper planny, stationery writey kind of person. That's really how I flow. So yeah, far be it from me to tell anyone else how to do it, but that's how I do it. So I've got a pocket Filofax coming, and I know for a lot of people it might seem a little bit kind of wacky and over the top to buy, you know, a folder for your bag that's like that big with a little string on it, and it costs like £22. I realise that might seem weird to some people, but I really think that in this life, one person's investment, one person's solid use of cash is another person's frivolous waste. So like, to me, the things that some people spend their money on are wasteful, and to them, some stuff that I spend my money on is wasteful. Oh, are you on? Yes. Yeah, sorry, I lost my battery. Yeah. So what I was saying, that needs a bit more hot water in it because I've rabbited on for ages and ages. So what I was saying was, yeah, to some people it might seem wasteful, like that I've purchased a hotel room just to do some work, just to do some recordings and some sound recordings and get a bit of time on my own and just relax and enjoy the creative process. Like, some people might think, well, if you've got a room for creative stuff at home, just stay at home. But like I said, there's less chance of interruption, there's more, I get my head in the game. So for me, it's an investment, it's not a waste of money. And people spend their money on all kinds of things that other people think are silly or frivolous. So for me, I just think Filofax, I just love Filofax. And I can't buy much Filofax anyway, because a lot of it's leather. Although I would buy them secondhand, and there are plenty of secondhand ones around. But yeah, I think for me, like, having a little teeny Filofax is going to be cool to go in my bag. And my boyfriend thinks it's insanely cute. He was laughing his arse off the other day when I was showing him in the shop the Filofax pockets. So yeah, that's kind of how I organise stuff. That's how I do it, and I've really found what they call in the planner community planner peace. With my planner that I've just shown you, like my Filofax, I love the setup, I love the way everything works. Yeah, so I think this might be all with regard to the creative process. I think I might just, because this vlog's going to be insanely long, I've no idea who the fuck is going to watch this, but if you've made it all the way to this point, then I love you. I love you with an intensity that you cannot know. And now I'm going to probably go and read the Bible for a while, because I am a naughty, naughty heathen witch, and I need learning. I need some straight learning, some monotheistic learning. So yeah, I'm probably going to go and do that. No, I'm joking, I'm not. I've got loads of work to do. Okay, much love, guys. Blessed be. Can I just say, really briefly, I bought a fruit selection for while I was at the hotel, and I've never bought one before, and so for the tea enthusiasts among you, just witness the glory of this selection. It's actually ridiculous. Oh, bloody hell. Fresh and fruity cranberry and sanguinello orange. Fresh and fruity blackcurrant ginseng and vanilla. Cranberry, raspberry and elderflower. Oh my holy days. Raspberry, strawberry and loganberry. And strawberry and mango. How lovely.